They're in the gate. They're off and away.
These two in a battle of the sexes in the Belmont Stakes.
Look at this racehorse.
A masterful ride by a master, Jose Santos.
And number one reading will go to Cigar by 2.5.
Even Money Marketing presents The King's Court.
What an intro. Welcome to the King's Court. My name is Chance Moquette. I'm a full-time horse racing enthusiast, part-time horse player, and today I am the host of this show where I am joined by my good friends and colleagues to have some conversation geared toward intriguing new fans into the sport of kings and entertaining the existing fans and bettors for the sport that we all love. Welcome, gentlemen. Quick intros. Jose Santos, we're going to call him Joe so that he is not confused with his father, Hall of Fame rider, the master, Jose Santos. Woo! For Jose, he did not make the height requirement to become a jockey. And so instead of that dream, he manages jockeys. He has represented the likes of Kent DeSormo, Tyler Bays. He helped David Cabrera become a top 10 rider a couple of years back, and currently manages Miguel Mena. And breaking news, Declan Carroll is heading to Kentucky with Jose Santos after this. Jose, thanks for being here. We also have Jack Carlino. Jack's a West Coast guy. He moved to the Bluegrass State to pursue a career in horse racing. He graduated from the University of Louisville's equine industry program, and as if that wasn't enough to be relevant, he decided that he was going to be accepted and complete the Darley Flying Start program. He's going to give us great insight around pedigrees, anything on the sales side, bloodstock. He's your guy, inside scoop there. I know that all of our fans that already watch the sport are very familiar with that awesome, heartwarming interview of Brittany Earton after her father's horse stormed the court, upset the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on Friday at 45-1. But I'm here to tell you that the best moment that came from that actually aired the next day on Barstool Bets, whenever Nathan made an appearance. Rootin' Home stormed the court for a $60,000 score. He's our big ticket guy. Every group needs a big ticket guy, and he's your guy for that. My favorite story involves Nathan setting a couch on fire. I'm sure we will get to that later. And in an argument with a man of few words, but many names, Don C. Cody Caudill, otherwise known as Don Ragazin, otherwise known as Don C. And here's the thing. The C changes. Whatever that stands for is based solely on Don's mood and who he is that day. He specializes in opinions, arguments, and somehow finds a way to cash crazy bets and part wheels for horses that make no sense. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. I'm pumped up. We got a ton to unpack on the King's Court this week. We've got the Arkansas Derby that we'll absolutely get into. We got the Fantasy Stakes, a great undercard. And then we also have some breaking news out of the state of Kentucky. Jose, I know you're close to that. Can you talk a little bit about Churchill reopening its backside, when they might start racing? And then also, how did some of these tracks like Gulfstream and Oaklawn Park, how are they able to keep running? And what did that look like from your side in the business?
Yeah, it was well, first off with Churchill. Churchill announced that they're going to be opening their backside on May 11th. They're going to have a phasing system where they allow people from the fairgrounds to come in. Then a couple of days after that, they'll be allowing people from Gulfstream. That'll be followed by Oaklawn, and then the people from the surrounding farm areas also want to come in. It looks like it's going to be about a 7 to 9 day phasing in to get everybody in. And racing will begin May 16th. So from the sounds of it, there will be horses actually running before everyone's allowed on the backside. But we'll get the meet going. Getting horse racing in Kentucky was extremely important to the whole industry, being really the heart and soul of horse racing in, definitely here, but also in the world. Some of the best horses in the world are born right here in the Bluegrass State. For racetracks that were operating already, like Gulfstream and Oaklawn, they did a really good job of having set protocols and making sure that they followed it. one of the things that affected me was my riders were not allowed to ship from out of town because, you just don't want that many bodies changing and all these riders in the same room. Social distancing right now is extremely important. My rider, Miguel Mena, will actually be at Oaklawn riding Friday and Saturday, and he has to go stay in a separate jocks room that Oaklawn has made, and it's a really nice accommodation for, what's going on right now. They don't have a shower in there or anything, but the guys, they get ready over at their, hotels or wherever they're staying at, and they come over and they have a nice setup, and, them doing that's just doing a lot for us because for a lot of people we're out of work and gives us a little opportunity to make money and stay relevant in the game.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that, Cody, I was talking to you on the phone this morning and, you had to say, hang on, I got to get my temperature taken. What's the protocol as far as being a backside employee at Oaklawn right now? Are they, what actions are they taking to make sure everything's safe as we start ramping this up?
So every morning that I get to the track, if I want to go on the backside or the front side, I have to go through a temperature check where they check my temperature and they give you a wristband if everything's good. So on top of that, our barn has employed a policy of wearing a mask, but I think that's going to also be used in Kentucky going forward as well. But we're being very careful over here, and Oaklawn's definitely paying attention to all the workers on the backside to make sure everybody's doing the right things.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Whenever you see some stories, and I'll kind of open this up for dialogue for anybody else that has anything, but you see a lot of people in my work, my line of work on my 9-to-5 job, Monday through Friday. It's geared towards making sure that everybody's safe and keeping that social distance. But the racetrack industry is super unique because most of the people live at the track. And I think that hearing how Oaklawn's done that, I'm sure that other tracks like Gulfstream Park have done the same. I know obviously there's, we had the Javier Castellano news where they were, they required everybody new to take a test. And I think that it's interesting that there's been no new cases reported at any of these tracks. So whatever they're doing is working, right?
Absolutely. And with that Javier Castellano situation, what they did was they looked back in the last 3 weeks, which one of our riders have been, visiting family in New York, who's been riding elsewhere. And they came up with 7 riders. They tested them, and Javier was the one who came up positive. And he's done the right thing by stepping away from the game and taking the ample time. And now he's ready to go. And we're excited to see one of the top riders, in the nation get back to riding. And he's got some big mounts, including the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly winner of the past year, British Idiom.
Yeah, so that's a great segue. Let's jump right into that. British Idioms in the Fantasy Stakes. And I started looking over the past performances yesterday. I can't wait to hear some of the opinions because there's certainly a lot of opinions to be had. You got an action-packed field. I think I counted 10 stakes winners, 6 of which are graded stakes winners. It's every bit as loaded of a prep race in any division that I think that you could see that I could imagine. It's phenomenal. So who do we like there? What does that race set up? Let's hear from a couple people we haven't heard from yet. Lino, have you looked at it?
I have, yeah. I'm not going to give you a unique opinion. As if you watched any of the original few King's Courts, which has been on a 4-year break, we may have some people that view this that did see some of the originals hosted by Matt Dinnerman, and
right.
Matt has come a long way since then, now announcing races at Golden Gate, but we still
too big for us now. It's too big for us now.
Our crew here, we're happy to have Chance moderating and giving his opinions and info. So very excited to be back. But if you watch those, and as you'll find out watching these, I will have a West Coast bias, and I like Venetian Harbor.
Shocker.
Like I said, I'm not going to give you an opinion. I think she's really good. I love a horse that blows fields away. That's what she's done. I just think she's a really good filly, and I'm not going to try to do anything crazy. But luckily we have a couple people in this group that I'm sure will. So
that's great. I can't wait for that. I'll be out of conversation a lot. I'll have an opinion or two that I'll share as Jack did it, but I am absolutely the opposite of that. I always try to beat the West Coast shipper at Oaklawn Park. Most of the time I get smoked in some instances, especially if the trainer's name is Bob Baffert, but this trainer's name is not Bob Baffert. And so I will be going against Venetian Harbor, but I want to hear what some of these other guys may have to say as well. Nathan, who do you like?
I have a question for the group. Where's the speed in this race?
Ooh, I think that's definitely got to be ringleader, right?
Ooh, on the stretch out.
Yeah, ringleader on the stretch out, right? I mean, that definitely looks like the fastest horse in here to me.
I think Lake Avenue would be more aggressively ridden with Johnny V than with Rosario last time.
She's really one pace, though. See, I mean, I just don't think she's actually that quick. Even if he wants to be aggressive, I don't see him being fast enough for ringleader or Venetian Harbor. I was kind of thinking the same thing, though. He was going to try to definitely keep her a lot closer, Johnny V, but she's kind of a toss for me because she's not going to get an easy lead. I think he's going to have to use her up early, and I just don't see her liking that. I think she wants to be relaxed, one pace, and just kind of finish up. What's the mile and a quarter race at Saratoga? Is that the Alabama? Is that it?
Yeah,
Alabama. All right. We'll talk about her then. Lake Avenue.
Who do you like in this race, Jose?
I like Harvey's Little Goyle.
Yeah.
I mean, she's tossed the grass race. 2 huge efforts on the dirt at Aqueduct. I don't usually like the Aqueduct form, but I just visually like the way that this horse does it. The horse that she beat in her maiden came back and won the next start. Horse that ran second to her in the Bushanda came back and won her next start. And you want to talk about blowing away field. She's really blowing away field. She's coming back to the mile 16th, but I don't think that's going to matter. She won at a mile and eighth, and she's just been extremely impressive to me. And I think Bill Mott's onto something here. 12-1's a gift.
As surprising as it is for Jack to pick Venetian Harbor from California, it's not as surprising for Jose to pick a horse coming in from Aqueduct who just won the Busanda.
That's what I'm giving you.
Who you got?
I'm going to go She Dares the Devil. I think she got a trouble.
Oh, the Oaklawn horse. All right.
For our new and existing viewers, for those that don't know, Cody Caudill is the world's biggest fan of Joel Rosario. And the only
Does Moquette train this horse?
Is Ron Anderson, who is Joel Rosario's agent. And so I'm not shocked that She Dares the Devil is your pick, Cody.
I heard that Caudill's been shining Joel Rosario's shoes while he's been in town. Can you confirm or deny that, Caudill?
Deny that.
Cody, tell me why. Tell me why you like her.
Thought she had a trouble trip last time out, was much the best. I think before that she ran a good race too, but she was moved a little bit early. I think she's been training well, and I think she's due to improve, and I like the positive jockey switch, as you guys stated out before, to Joel Rosario.
Yeah, I think that another piece that I think She Dares the Devil at 12-1, it surprises me. You mentioned the trouble trip in the first race at Oaklawn this year, and people are forgetting that Bonnie South came back to be a pretty impressive winner against who was the Oaks favorite going into the race. And
we appreciate her for that as well.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We were all on Bonnie South that day, and now we get to see She Dares the Devil come back with Joel Rosario. You mentioned the jockey switch from Joe Talamo. He should be providing a pretty quick pace out there on ringleader. Nathan, you asked the question, but you didn't give us the answer, man. Who do you got?
I mean, on paper you could say there's speed, but if the 2 gets an easy lead, she's gone. So I've got to go West Coast here. I'm going with the chalk. I don't see anybody else that can run with her. Just
can we cover 2 horses real quick? But we haven't spoken about British Idiom since we transferred over, and she won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, the Alcibiades last year. 7 had a lot of trouble in her return race. Yep. A little flat possibly first off the return. You can definitely forgive her. What if you get ridiculous odds on her, right? I mean, sounds like a lot of people are going to be gambling on Venetian Harbor. You might get 3-1, 7-2 on British Idiom. I mean, that's probably a gift. And another one I want to talk about a little bit is Swiss Skydiver. I want to hear some opinions on Swiss Skydiver because I actually had her last time when she won the Gulfstream Park Oaks. And I think she might be just improving, but I know she got the easy lead last time. I just kind of was wondering what you guys think about her.
Yeah, what's her running style going to be this time? Is she coming off the pace?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't need the lead. Yeah. I mean, she's definitely going to be coming off the pace. Paco was extremely aggressive with her, but they did not go that fast. And, I think she just might actually be an all right horse. I'm not thinking that she can necessarily win this race, but I think she deserves a little bit of respect in the division.
I think that's fair. I think that it's fair, and you've got to me, to give an opinion on British Idiom, I think that she was an uber talented 3-year-old. I remember seeing her in person and thinking that she was very well developed for a 2-year-old. And I was surprised to see her not move forward. But you're right, it was a troubled trip. I'm just wondering if she just didn't move forward, if she didn't take that step up between 2 and 3, and if she didn't, I think that there's some pretty talented up and coming horses in this race. For me,
Definitely.
I'm landing on Harvey's Little Goyle as well. I bet her in the futures.
Let's go.
I'm going to back that Aqueduct form, but I'm not.
Let's go.
I'm not doing it because of the Aqueduct form. For those that haven't gotten to hear my opinion and or don't know me, I am a big handicapper around stride and the mechanics of a horse, and that filly strikes me as a very efficient mover that will have no issue getting the distance. And
3 months off going into this race, consistent work. I think this horse has worked 8 or 9 times going into this spot.
I think. Go ahead. What'd you say, Nate?
Who did she beat in New York?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's right.
Yeah.
Tell Jack.
I guess she's won her last 2 by 6-7 links. So
The reason I'm piping back in is because I actually think Chance and Jose are right that she is really, really good.
You're getting value.
I remember after when she crossed the line in her last race, I texted one of my buddies and I think I just said, "Wow, that filly's good," and I think she is, and I think she's going to show it. I think in terms of distance, which this time of year I think always is a valid question. And I think sometimes we can overhype pedigrees and overanalyze that. I think she will enjoy it more than anybody, not just because she's a daughter of American Pharaoh, but also because, like Chance and Jose have noted, she moves incredibly well, which is probably something she inherited from her father, who also was a great moving racehorse.
Man,
and definitely enjoyed Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, I remember that one all too well.
Yeah, I bet you do.
We don't need to talk about that. That was a great second match that we had.
Far right was a far 20 lengths back per second.
Yeah, Frank almost forgot to say his name. I don't blame him. I'm not mad at him for that one. So hey, I think we just gave a consensus long shot here. 12-1, Harvey's Little Goyle.
Is she actually going to be 12-1?
Not 12-1, but I mean, she's not going to be a top 3 betting choice in here.
That's probably fair.
Right. I mean,
because here's the thing. I can tell you, and I know that Cody and Jose can as well, as far as the Oaklawn plug, right? The people at Oaklawn Park, they love Brad Cox, but I know also She Dares the Devil is a very highly touted horse on the backside there. And
right.
He should be. Joa Rosario's hopping on. She was uber impressive last time, a private purchase. And I think there's also going to be some conversation about the Steve Asmussen long shots in the race, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Alta's award. She ran a good race last time. I mean, she got out kicked, by She Dares the Devil last time. And this other one, Fire Crawl, I mean, that horse has been really impressive too. Tossed the first start, but those two starts at Oaklawn have been really impressive. I just don't know really what she beat. What she beat probably wouldn't stack up in here.
Finished second to her in the maiden race, came back to break her maiden today going long. And so,
okay, there we go.
I mean, it could be something. I think that people are going to read into the Ricardo Santana mount choice. And I think that this group is, that's a really good opportunity to educate some newer fans. It's not always just a rider picking what they think is the best horse in those instances. I think that whenever you see that Ricardo Santana sided with the Ed and Susie Orr horse, whom he's riding Silver Prospector for in the Arkansas Derby the following day, there's probably some aligning there. I don't necessarily know that he picked who he feels is the better of the two there, but time will tell. It's going to be an exciting race, guys. We're going to kick it to our friends at Oaklawn Park for a quick 30-second break. We'll be back for more after this.
Here they come into the stretch of the Arkansas Derby, and it is Smarty Jones who takes command and draws clear by 3 lengths. But a Fleet Alex has kicked it into gear, one of the most impressive Arkansas Derby wins ever. But Curlin is on his way. He's got an engagement for the Triple Crown races.
American Pharaoh, breathtaking.
Welcome back to the King's Court. We've got a bow on the fantasy. We've given you guys some picks, and now we're going to dive into the Arkansas Derby. After the Arkansas Derby conversations, we're going to go to a short break. We'll then be joined by jockey Joe Talamo, who was kind enough to speak to us via phone. We're excited to share some of the information that he has for you guys. And then we'll close with some rapid-fire picks and predictions for the weekend. Arkansas Derby, controversial, guys. They split it. They split it up. What are the thoughts around that? What does everybody what's the temp there?
I like it.
Yeah?
It gives the horses somewhere to run. All the tracks are closed. Like you had talked about previously, it's a bluegrass and an Arkansas Derby, one after another almost. So I love it.
I originally didn't like it because I didn't realize that full points were being awarded to both ends.
Yeah, that's key.
I thought it was pretty watered down, and they should have just put a stake like they did the Phillies and put a little stake underneath it, and then you just move Charlatan and all them over into there. But since they're awarding full points, I think it awards a lot of people opportunity to run with a horse that was ready to run in a time of need. And, it's up to those that didn't take advantage of that. Honestly, now you can't really say anything bad about the fields they got in those situations. So I like it generally, and I thought it was good for horse racing.
Yeah, I think it was fair to do for all the participants and the right thing to do for all the participants. People pour a lot into the sport, and Oaklawn had the chance to reward more of them, and they did. I also don't think anyone would argue that the quality isn't the same. That's obviously the fact, and that's just what happens. But like we've touched on, I think it was the right thing to do for the people and the horses involved. And so for that, I think it was good. But at the same time, I don't think anyone would look at it and say the quality's the same. Just because
I don't know about that. Maybe not Division I, but I think
Division I's not bad though.
Yeah,
Division I's really not a bad field. Well, I think we're about to dive right into that. But my opinion on this is, right now there's no right call, right? Everyone's kind of freaked out on everything in the world, whether it comes to horse racing or real world. We're also in a situation that we've never been in before. I think Oaklawn had the opportunity to do something cool. Like we've said, we've got no Wood Memorial, no Bluegrass, no Lexington. These horses have got to run somewhere. Horses have been getting primed up for this.
Yeah.
Generally, this is where 3-year-olds are really getting primed up to then have their big effort, which should be this weekend in the Kentucky Derby. Unfortunately, we don't get that, but we will get it for Saturday in September. But, I think there is quality in these fields. And I think we're in for a treat this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that you used two words. You said these 3-year-olds are primed up, and we talked about Division I. And I was talking to a couple of you earlier. I don't know, as long as we've been using the sheets by Ragusan, I don't know that I've seen a 3-year-old with numbers as low as Charlatan coming into this. Obviously, the horse to beat. I show in addition to his very shiny 105 and 106 buyer speed figures, I see a 4 on the sheet, followed up by a 3 on the sheet. For those of you that are not sheet players, typically the Kentucky Derby is won somewhere between a 5 and a 6 when referencing the Justifies of the world and the American Pharaohs of the world. Normally that bar seems to be set at a 5 or a 6. So what's the thought there? Can he go 1 mile and an 1/8, Speightstown?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be 1 to 9. So from a wagering standpoint,
also true
value. I think your best value of the race scratched. So, or will scratch, shoot or shoot.
That's right. Yeah, I think so too. He really impressed me against Blackberry Wine.
Yeah,
and shoot scratch and also kills. Where's the speed, right? Who in here is going to be fast enough to keep up with Charlatan?
No one.
It's going to be near impossible. They're going to have to go outside of what they've shown that they're comfortable doing to do that. And I'm not sure that's the horse you want to try that against. You're probably going to rip out your horse's own heart just trying to go up against him. And I can't even begin to think of who could go out there and try it. I really can't.
As much as I started out by saying I have a West Coast bias, I'm not a huge Charlatan fan. After his debut, thought he looked like a brilliant racehorse and a brilliant sprinter. And then I guess he proved me wrong when he went 1 mile. And was just as good. I don't know if he was just as good. I guess on figures he was better.
Well, we're going to get to find out because the horse he beats in on Saturday, I believe, that Rushy, right? He's in the 1F.
Yeah. I just don't – I know he went the mile. I don't have a ton of confidence in Charlatan. But like you said, on paper, he's a 1-9 type of horse. So it might not matter. But I do think that he might be vulnerable given how low of odds he's going to be and what the general consensus is on him.
What do you guys think about Basin trying to take it to him early? I mean, Basin showed a lot of speed in these 2-year-old stakes over in, Saratoga. He was close to the pace in the Hopeful, broke his maiden right up on the pace going 22-1, 45-1. He's kind of had unlucky trips, I felt like, the last 2 times. I thought he's gotten 2, bad trips in a row. It happens. It's part of horse racing, big field. Sometimes you're going to get in trouble, but
rider change.
He might be there. Yeah, Ricardo's on the horse. I mean, Ricardo's definitely been working this horse probably since May of last year. Yeah. So he's well acquainted with the horse. He's on the outside. I mean, you can't just let Charlatan go. I could see Ricardo being aggressive in here, maybe trying to get him in the race, and that's a talented horse as well in his own right.
I think he's the second best horse in the race behind.
Ooh. What about Gouverneur Morris, though? That's a horse that had a lot of trouble. He had everything go wrong in the Florida Derby, and he never gave up. He just kept churning, coming. I think that he's ready to take a big step up in here. I think anyone's they're in for a big fight if they want to beat Charlatan, but there's some talent in here. I think Gouverneur Morris got a lot of talent. I think we're going to see a lot of talent out of Basin. And Anuar de Oro, I mean, he done nothing wrong prior to that last start in the Risen Star. I mean, he comes off the layoff, goes to the fairgrounds, doesn't show up. But it's not like he has to take his track with him. I mean, maybe he just likes it up there on the West Coast, but I'm fine to give him another shot again.
For me, I've never understood it. I mean, I guess it makes sense coming off of the effort in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. But personally, for me, I've never understood when you have a horse that's doing all of the right things, an equipment change. And I thought it was interesting.
Right, yeah. And now they go blinkers off. Yeah.
His blinkers back off. And if he pops back to some of those numbers, he could be relevant.
Oh, yeah.
He's also back to his original rider. We know how big familiarity can be. And so that was interesting to me. I felt like whenever I looked at this race, I don't think I can try to get cute. What?
Winning impression.
It could be. Yeah, I think that it's either going to be one of 2 ways. I think that there may be enough talent in the race to soften Charlatan up, and if he's not a true distance classic horse, then maybe we find that out and we have bombs go off. And if he is a true classic horse, then they're not going to beat him, and we're going to get to see something special, right?
I've held my peace for too long. Jose's looking at this race all wrong. Don't listen to a word he's a person that wants to go chase this Bob Baffert freak show and go 46 and change and watch him keep going and then back out and run last. Yeah. Charlatan's going to gallop around there. He'll look like $1 million. His problem is going to be when he gets in a race where there's a ton of speed and somebody chases him and he has to go too fast.
I said that this race didn't have speed. I'm just trying to find the guy who might go with him.
Nobody's going to go with him.
Force their hand to try to chase him. Charlatan's going to wire and win by 5. Winning impression will run a great second. Dallas Stewart will get him to move forward again. I'm with Nathan there. We agreed. But I'm not going to let anybody try to say that somebody's going to chase after Charlatan and take their horse out of their game.
I'm not chasing after him, but you gotta try to be aggressive. I mean, the last 2 times that he sat, it didn't work at all. He goes and sits up close to the pace 2 times in a row. He runs massive efforts. The last 2 times to try to take him back, it didn't work. What's wrong with trying to get in the race?
They can try all they want.
7/8 works for Basin, Jose. That's what you're talking about.
Okay, 7/8 works for Basin. Hey, you might be right. I'm not against that idea. You might be completely right, but I'm just trying to find someone to go with him.
I absolutely disagree about the 7/8 comment on Basin, and I think that whenever back to looking at horses,
you're arguing with a wall over there with Caudill. So
yeah, you're right. But I just think whenever you look at him and the horse that he is, I mean, whenever he won the Hopeful, I was very excited. And Cody, I know you remember you got a call from me. I was very excited because I said nothing about this horse looks like he should be a Grade 1 winner at less than a mile. And he was. I think that he absolutely wants more distance. He's had 2 really troubled trips. two interesting events. That Oaklawn Stake was one of the more interesting races that I've seen so far in 2019. But I'm curious. I love the opinions, and one of you is going to be right since there's a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Charlton's got to be, he's obvious in here, but I'm just trying to find something. I don't know. I'd probably just stay out of gambling on the race just because it's going to be a 1-9 shot is a freak. But
if you're looking for a gambling race, let's flip over 2 pages and go to the second division, because I think that this one offers some value and maybe some racing that could be a bit more competitive. You got the Tampa Derby winner, you got the Rebel Stakes winner, you got the Southwest winner, you've got the Louisiana Derby winner. You have every horse that would be in the gate for the first Saturday in May running in this race. And I think that's really exciting. There's an awful lot of opportunity for opinion in this race. Let's start with you, Jack. What do you think?
Yeah, so I like this Baffert horse more. I like Nadal. I think he's good. I don't think he's the best of the Bafferts. I tend to favor Authentic, but that doesn't mean this horse isn't also really good. I like King Guillermo as well. I thought he looked good winning last time out. And, will he be kind of more of a one-hit wonder? We'll see. But I think it was probably legit. And Wells Bayou is a horse I wouldn't sleep on. I know, what happens up front will not be what he's seen in the past. I don't think it will be anyway, but I still think he's really good. Chance, you said you like horses that move well. That horse moves incredibly well.
Warriors Charge 2.0.
Oh, we'll see. I don't think you're fully right there. I think he is.
I like Warriors Charge. It's not a knock at all. Warriors Charge ran third in the Preakness, 3rd or 4th, right?
Fair,
ran a huge race. Yeah. It's a nice horse.
He's probably closer in talent to Nadal than people will give him credit for.
So is Warriors Charge.
Does Wells Bayou need the lead? Can he win?
Probably not.
He probably doesn't need it, but, I mean, you're going to have to be aggressive from all the way out there. And, I mean, Giroux's a great gate rider. One thing he will do, and we've seen it time and time again, he's going to break, he's going to try to clear, he's going to try to get to the rail, and then he's going to try to park him. I mean, that's what he does.
We might get some value in Wells Bayou from the outside. I feel like Nadal's taking a ton of money here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might deserve to, because that race he ran last time, I mean, everyone came at him and he hung around, but he hasn't beaten a horse yet that I would at all consider serious outside of Basin, who I thought got a terrible trip last time. So I can expect
Basin got a horrible trip in that race as well.
Right.
I think the pace of the race is going to be in Rosario's hands. You're going to have King Guillermo sending from the inside. He's going from an outside post where he won the Tampa Bay Derby and got a catbird trip to the inside. He's going to try to go to the front. You're going to have Rosario, who's got the speed to go to the front. He sent him from the rail last time. He's going to be in between horses. And you're going to have Giroux probably settling right on Camacho's outside on King Guillermo, because King Guillermo, I think, is going to fly. So I think the pace of the race is going to be in Rosario's hands. If he wants to fly, they'll fly. But if he wants to sit blinkers off, I think he could sit a good trip right behind those two and pounce and be gone.
This thing, I think that we've made some interesting comments here. There's all this speed, there's all this speed, there's all this speed. But I feel like we've said that for several races this year.
Listen. Giroux's getting the front, all right? Watch horse racing more often. Giroux is getting to the front from the 11 hole, Cody. Sammy Camacho is going to take back when he sees that and probably has the best horse in this race and wins from a length off the pace.
Let's circle back. Who's everybody's top pick in here, just for the record?
King Guillermo.
Wells Bayou.
Nadal.
I'm with Cody on this one. I'm with Nadal.
So Cody you went double chalk in the Arkansas Derbies this year.
Double chalk.
All right.
Double chalk. Second under Charlton. Heard it here first.
We heard it here first from Don C. Don C, and right now the C stands for confident. We're now going to have a phone call with Joe Talamo directly after this break.
As Venetian Harbor completely dominates,
And Swiss Skydiver is a Gulfstream Park Oaks winner.
And it will be Ice Princess. Still Lake Avenue on top. Jay British
into the winner's circle. The winner of the 33rd running of the Honeybee, She Dares the Devil.
It's all Harvey's Little Goyle.
This is Nate with Even Money Marketing in the King's Court. We've got Joe Talamo on today. Joe, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time today to chat. How's everything down in Arkansas?
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Sun shining. Feels absolutely great.
We wanted to congratulate you so far this season on your success. You're the only rider not named Ricardo Santana Jr. to ever go over $3 million plus in earnings during a meet, and you have 8 stakes wins so far this spring. Would you say your transition from Southern California has been smooth? How do you like Oaklawn? How do you like Arkansas, man?
I absolutely love it. And not only myself, my wife and 2 little boys are here, and they've had nothing but fun this whole time here. Especially my little boys. We live right on the lake here, so they've had a lot of fun fishing and stuff like that, and running around. And that when I'm riding, my wife, she's taking them to just about every park there is, and Hot Springs and Little Rock here. So it's been not only for racing, but family-wise, it's been unbelievable.
It's gorgeous down there in Hot Springs. Let's talk about some horses now. Have you noticed any differences, coming from Santa Anita, coming from Del Mar, Los Al? Have you noticed any differences in how horses train, at Oaklawn, and maybe how the track plays differently as compared to Southern California?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It's that Oaklawn's a really nice track. As far as horses can win from on the lead, off the lead, from last, which is great tactic wise, because a lot of times you'll see certain tracks where it's totally speed favoring, or totally horses coming from out of it and stuff like that. And not only that, I mean, we've had a lot of rain this winter.
That is true.
But I was actually really impressed on some of those really wet days that track handles water really, really nice. So, I mean, that's a testament to, the track maintenance crew there. I mean, we had some really, really rain out days, and it was absolutely fine. We got through the races, no problem. So I was really impressed with that.
Those rainy days that it can get deep down on the rails. I don't think we've had a spring in Hot Springs where it has rained this much. And yeah, you're right. It's a testament to, the maintenance crew at Oaklawn. Keep it fair. You've been in some thrillers so far. 2 that come to mind: last weekend on Long Weekend, battling in that race, as well as Shoot or Shoot against Blackberry Wine earlier. What has been your most memorable ride that you would say so far at Oaklawn? I know you've been on Serengeti Empress, Whitmore.
Oh man, that's tough to say, honestly. Like you said, I've been so fortunate to get on some really, really nice. Not only nice horses, but nice stake horses in general. As you mentioned, Whitmore, Serengeti Empress. I mean, it's tough to pinpoint one, but we've definitely had some memorable days here that I'm very grateful for.
This weekend, you're named on Mr. Freeze in the Oaklawn Handicap. Do you have any idea how that race is going to set up, or are you feeling confident? Just kind of tell us how you feel.
Yeah, actually, I'm very excited to watch that horse, to ride that horse. I mean, I've actually been watching him race for quite some time here. Actually, I remember I ran second to him in the West Virginia Derby.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was years ago. I rode draft pick. God, he won so impressive that day. And I remember my horse was training really, really well. And I thought we had a good shot to win that race. And he beat me by, I think it was 7 or 8 lengths. And it seems every year he's just been improved. Now, I know his last race he ran a 107 buyer, which is his best to date. So, I mean, he seems to be doing better now than ever before. So I'm really excited to ride him on Saturday.
That should be a good race. That's a stacked field. You're sitting on a good horse in Mr. Freeze. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit here. Man, we got to know where the huge left hand came from. I mean, the high hitting left hand that you've got now is, I don't know if you know this, but it's famous around Oaklawn now.
Oh,
tell us about it.
I really don't know. And actually, I'm right-handed too. It's not like I'm left-handed. I don't know. I've always tried to really work hard fitness-wise to try and finish as as strong as possible in a race. And I guess that just kind of developed on its own.
There's always talk about Talamo's huge left hand, so I wanted to ask you about it.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Of course. So I'm going to move on to a little controversy here. Serengeti Empress in the ride in the Apple Blossom. I know you've cut a little flack on it. We know the pace was fast. Everyone wants to know, man, why didn't you go to the front?
Yeah, and you know what? Tom has every right to be disappointed and mad at him. I mean, he said go to the lead, and I didn't. So, I mean, it is what it is. So he definitely has every right to be mad at me in that aspect. My instructions were to go to the front no matter what, and I wasn't. So, I mean, that's that.
I think it just set up a little different.
I mean, it was almost run like a 7 furlong sprint. I mean those fractions that Philly in front. I mean, those 45 flat for a mile and a 16th. For a 2-turn mile and a 16th race is pretty darn quick there.
That's flying at Oaklawn, especially 2 turns.
Yes, that is.
Man, I just appreciate your time. I know you've got to get going. We just wanted to thank you for talking about Oaklawn so far this spring, and talking about this weekend coming up, and best of luck.
I appreciate it, Nate. Any time, man.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Welcome back to the King's Court. It is always fun and interesting whenever you get to not only talk to a great rider like Joe Talamo, but also ask him about his high left hand and question him about not going to the
that
front.
Thing's flying.
And question him about not going to the front for a half mile in a 2-turn race that went 45.
Like Thor's hammer. Body down with that thing.
Nathan, that's great recording. I love the guerrilla tactics. Let's see what kind of guerrilla tactics you got whenever we go to the Oaklawn Handicap. And guys, this may be one of the more impressive races that I've seen carded. And I find it so interesting. I think it's a great topic of conversation for you guys to dive into from the jump. But it's the Oaklawn Handicap, and how important were those handicap weights and the conversations that took place with the connections prior to it even being carded? You've got some horses that were excluded in this race, the likes of Tenfold, who is a graded stakes winner on classic days, and he didn't make the cut in this race.
I mean, I think the weights in here are. I don't get Mr. Freeze being 118. Personally, I think Mr. Freeze might be the most talented horse in this race. So you got a huge advantage of him at that. And the thing I don't get even more is how he's 6-1.
And he's also got the high left hand on him.
He does. He also has the high left hand on him as well.
Left hand on him. Yeah. He had 107 buyer speed figure. Do you think that the odds maker and the public is going to think that he bounces?
I don't really like the whole bounce angle with that much time in between. I don't really believe in that. I think if a horse bounces, it's usually because they run back quick. Improbable.
Maybe improbable.
Just dropping it out there. Maybe improbable. Just came with the effort of his life, quite possibly, to lose to Tom Zaytot. So I'm definitely going to be against him in here.
Who's the by my standards guy? Anybody?
Big by my standards guy. And I really never was, but this winter I was at the fairgrounds and I watched him work a bunch, and that is a monster.
He is impressive.
I mean, he is a freak. That horse is a freak.
He rates and wins by 2, my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he's a really, really nice horse in here. It's so crazy because you got some good horses in here that are actually probably running in the toughest race they've ever run in their life, like Warrior's Charge. Warrior's Charge is a well-respected horse, fourth in the Preakness, ran a big race in the Razorback, but this is by far the toughest field that he's ever had to face.
Absolutely.
And by my standards, getting the class test today. I mean, he won the Louisiana Derby, but it was nothing like this. I'm fine tossing this Kentucky Derby. There's a million excuses that come with Kentucky Derbies, and he had the layoff after that, but he's come back and been nothing but impressive. Improbable is a very nice horse, but I just kind of feel like he's going to bounce in here. I just don't like the quick turnaround. They got him very, very geared up for his last race. He ran a huge effort, and he didn't win. I'm just not usually a fan of playing a horse back like that. What about Tax being 15-1, right? I mean, what's wrong? Throw out the time he didn't have Lasix and throw out his Derby. I mean, what has Tax done wrong?
Do we have any combatant guys in here? Any combatant guys?
Probably that dude from Cali.
That's not a Cali horse.
No, I'm taking.
No, he's out there now.
I'm taking the Dennis Green angle on Combatant. He is who we thought he was. He's shipping it from California. He's just just an allowance horse.
I agree 100%.
He beat Multiplier, who's just been running second and third in allowance races, and just he's not very good. I think his numbers are overrated California-wise. I think he's a massive play against.
What about a horse like Trophy Chaser? That's another one who's going to be facing the toughest group he's faced in a while. But, I mean, toss all those 3-quarter races, and he's another one who's been real impressive, especially his last 2 starts. Now, he's definitely facing a lot tougher today, but maybe Avila and Camacho can get a little double of their own.
I'll zing this in there. I'll just throw this out for grabs. You talk about tough competition and somebody that doesn't miss any dances. We have the representative of a jockey named Miguel Mena who's sitting on 30-1 Bravazzo.
You got that right. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Bravazzo 30-1. It seems like maybe he's rounded into form, and he certainly is not a good horse.
Look, first off, I live and die by the coach, and I will until I'm no longer riding for him. I love the coach. I believe in the coach, and the coach told me that Bravazzo is ready to go.
Woo! All right.
So here we are. We're making the trip from Louisville down to ride Bravazzo. The last rider to win on him was Miguel Mena when they won the Louisiana Derby together. Or was it Risen Star?
Risen Star.
Risen Star, yeah, when they won the Risen Star together. And Miguel knows the horse well. There's a lot of pace in this race, and I think we're going to be coming for a piece of it.
Let me ask you this. You talk about the coaches.
Maybe the whole thing.
What about the coach's protege? Let's pull back the curtain a little bit there. Did you have your pick between Chess Chief and Bravazzo here?
No. The DQ last time decided that for me.
Oh.
No, absolutely. Hey, Chess Chief's a really nice horse too, but I mean, when we really get down to it, this is an extremely talented group. And I mean, I think Mr. Freeze and By My Standards have a chance to be some of the top handicap horses in the country this year.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Tacitus too. That's another one we haven't gotten to. Tacitus is coming out of the toughest race out of anybody. I mean, Maximum Security, Midnight Bisou, Ben Battle. I mean, right there with all of those.
You can have Tacitus.
Yeah, I'm not betting him. I'm just saying he's coming out of a tough race.
You can have him underneath.
Tax at 15-1 is interesting to me. I think that's ridiculous. I think 15-1 on Tax is actually pretty ridiculous in here. He needed a little bit of refreshing after the Travers. That was not his best effort, but they gave him time, and he came back and he ran huge in the Discovery. I really liked the performer. He was one that was in front of Tacitus before. He's an interesting horse to me as well. I think 15-1 is way too high.
What does the pace look like in here?
I think there's speed in here, right? There's a good amount of speed in here. Trophy Chaser from the rail.
Yeah, there's speed.
Mr. Freeze is fast. Warrior's Charge clearly got a lot of speed in him. I think Johnny V's another. He might have Tacitus a little closer than what we've been seeing of recent. By My Standards is quick. Improbable is going to have to send from the outside. I mean, there's pace in here. Just enough pace to get things going for Bravazzo to come pick up the pieces.
Jose has mentioned a lot of horses that he likes, so that's just
we're talking about pace. When it comes down to it, the 2 horses I like the most are By My Standards and Mr. Freeze.
Okay, I actually agree. I'd have Mr. Freeze over By My Standards. So those are our top 2.
Yeah.
What do the others think?
Now that Jose's done talking, Tacitus on top. I think everybody's going to hop off the bandwagon. I'll be right there waiting for him. I think this is the easiest race he's running in a long time. Give me Tacitus over By My Standards and Improbable. So my main pick is Tacitus. By My Standards and Improbable are the most likely to run with him. And my big bomb is Night Ops, course for course.
I'm going to give you all the exacta right now. It's By My Standards over Captivating Moon. $50 straight exacta. Take it to – you're most likely going to get – Captivating Moon's 20-1. That's probably a $50 exacta. That's $2,500 in your pocket right there. So
easy $2,500. An easy $2,500.
I will take it one step further. I'll play the straight try by my standards over Captivating Moon, over Tacitus. He hits the board. He shows. There's your try.
How much are you betting that one for?
$100.
That's why you're our big ticket guy. That right there is why you're our big ticket guy.
$100 straight try, $50 straight exacta. Let's go.
Look, he could have one combination or 1,000 combination, but Nate's going to find a way to blow a lot of money a race.
You're damn right.
Jack, what's your opinion on this?
My opinion.
Yours.
I've never been a Tacitus fan. I've never been an Improbable fan. And I'm not saying they're not good horses. I just don't think they're as good as people think they are. And so when I have, steady opinions on horses like that, I'm not going to change them now. And yeah, I think Mr. Freeze, I just think he's really good. And I think he'll show that by my standards. Again, I think he's a really good horse. I actually got burned by him in the Derby. I thought he was going to run a really good race. I think a lot of people thought he was going to run a good race that week. He was working exceptionally well. Jose kind of touched on that. He's a great workhorse. So I think you'd expect to see that. But yeah, he just didn't run his race that day. But he's come back and he's been really good. And I think he's got a lot of talent. So yeah, Mr. Freeze by my standards, and we'll see what happens.
That's going to be the best race of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
There's your hot take of the day, the Oaklawn Handicap, best race of the day at Oaklawn Park. I tend to agree with you. I think that this is a race to where, you joke around, Jack, about having a bunch of opinions, but golly, there's some good horses in this race, and there's a lot of opinions to be had. I think that this is a race that I just sit back and appreciate as a fan. I think that if I'm playing it, I got a lot of boxes, and I go deep. If I'm riding a pick 4 or a pick 5, I'm personally a huge fan of Warrior's Charge just as a horse. I think it's so cool. Whenever he came back in the mid stretch off of a layoff in the Essex, it really fired me up. Albeit to Cody's favorite second place bet in the world, Bankit. I don't know how many times we've had to see our good friend Bankit finish.
He's in our allowance race on the card.
Against Pirates Punch, so you'll probably get to bet him for second again.
Yeah. We'll bank it second if Santana's riding.
Oh no! Hot take of the day. Take it to the bank. We got all kinds of opinions in the Oaklawn Handicap. I think that it's time for us to wrap up the show and finish it with our speed round. Top 2 picks in every major race. Starting now, go. Jack Carlino, the Fantasy Stakes, top 2.
I'd like Harvey's Little Goyle and Venetian Harbor. Actually, in that order. I know that I said Venetian Harbor earlier. It marinated in my brain, and I swapped them.
Glad I was able to talk some sense into you.
Yeah. And then, should I go through all of them?
Let's do the fantasy once, and then we'll lap back around. So sure. Jack Carlino on record, Harvey's Little Goyle over Venetian Harbor, Jose Santos Jr.
Harvey's Little Goyle over Venetian Harbor as well. Me and Jack are coming with the same exactly.
Nathan Hughes.
Venetian Harbor runs a full feet. Swiss Skydiver places.
Cody.
He dares a double, wins it. Venetian Harbor can definitely win, but I'm going to give my long shot in here. Fire Coral. Play that 100.
Love it. My top 2 picks are also Harvey's Little Goyle, and I'm going to go with She Dares the Devil as my second pick. I don't think that either one of those are anywhere near their morning line, and I think that they'll both be playing much closer to our opinions in that race. Division 1 of the Arkansas Derby. Jack Carlino.
Basin and Charlatan.
In that order?
Yeah, in that order. Like I said, Charlatan, there's something I don't totally love. So, yeah, in that order.
Okay. Jose?
Basin and Gouverneur Morris.
Ooh, no Charlatan.
No, I'm going to go against it this time. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be shocked when the 1-9 favorite runs off the screen, but I like Gouverneur Morris a lot as a horse. So.
Nathan,
and I think Jason's going to be the one to
this is a
get on his neck.
It's a paid workout. You have to find the value underneath. It's charlatan over winning impression.
Okay, Cody.
I'm going to join Nathan. I might even play a little big ticket myself with Nathan. We're going to go charlatan and a gallop over winning impression.
Make sure you send that rent money first. Make sure you send that rent money first before you play that big ticket, all right? It's almost the first.
I got you. Don, I got you. Let's win.
Yeah, we're going to take down this exact report.
2 days, Caudale, 2 days.
I think that we could be seeing something special in charlatan, but I tend to agree. I don't see it going classic distances in this race. I'm going to side with Governor Morris, and I'm also going to throw Blaine Rytor's Anneau d'Or in there to improve without the blinkers on him and his rider back in the irons. Let's kick over. Do we want to go in order to the Oaklawn Handicap, or do we want to do the second division of the Arkansas Derby?
Let's stay in order.
All right, the Oaklawn Handicap. Top 2, Jack Carlino.
Yep, Mr. Freeze by my standards.
Love it. Jose.
Same right here, Mr. Freeze by my standards.
Do we have a consensus, Nathan?
No, by my standards over Captivating Moon. Now, if you want a little value, if you want to play a try, I love by my standards on top, and you take both of them. You take Tacitus and Mr. Freeze in third, and you put Bravazzo and Captivating Moon in second. There's your value.
Hey, I won't mind that payday if Bravazzo comes in second.
Cody, speaking of paydays, how are you going to get paid in the Oaklawn Handicap? Top 2.
Taking Tacitus. Everybody's going to hop off him. I'm taking him to win by my standards second.
Lovely. I have a different opinion in this race. I also think that by my standards is great, but I'm also very interested to see Improbable running second off the bench. I think that he's a good horse that fits with these. I'm going to like his value in this race. And then I'm also going to go with my heart, Warriors Charge. He just seems to fight. I love a good fighter.
Tat ripped out his heart and ate it at the 16th pole. And that's my opinion.
The good news about Improbable is he's had his heart ripped out a couple of different times by horses the likes of Omaha Beach and War of Will, so on and so forth. So I think he bounces back. We'll see.
I'm still mad about that exacta.
Second division of the Arkansas Derby, Jack Carlino, top 2.
Wells Bayou, and I'm torn between Nadal and King Guillermo. I'll go with Nadal in a second.
Jose.
King Guillermo and Nadal.
Nate.
King Guillermo off the board. Wells Bayou over Storm the Court. You could throw Nadal. I would just play it straight. Wells Bayou over Nadal and Storm the Court. So,
Cody.
Nadal over Silver Prospector.
Ooh.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it one bit. I am going to go Nadal over Farmington Road, picking up the pieces. 2 very efficient moving horses that I think are going to make some noise in the Arkansas Derby this week. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Thank all of you for tuning in to the King's Court. We will be back on Monday or Tuesday of next week. We're going to make sure that that we hold each other accountable on this call. So tune in to watch us play everybody's replays of where they were right, where they were wrong. And then we're going to get ready for another big week as they start to open up in Kentucky. This is the King's Court. We're signing off.
Thank you, Chan.